what's going on, and welcome to Eclipse Theory Games, podcast where we bring you the latest in gaming news, indie reviews, and everything else under the sun. My name is Kendall, and I'm here with one of my co-hosts,
Tony, aka Plug One, Blast the Noobs.
Respect, De La. Yeah, that's gonna win in my book every time. Absolutely, yeah. For sure. Now we got the return of my man James. Schedule finally, allowed him to return back to the Eclipse Theory dungeons. Welcome back, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Absolutely, man. We're gonna have to get your full recaps. I think we might got a dedicated episode to just
we need a James centric
episode. Like you're gonna have to do all of the recap for the fucking the console shit. But yeah, we're gonna get you there for sure because we need to make that tier list. But
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. But today we're actually gonna make up for some lost time because we did focus on the GameCube episode last week, and we did not recap the Nintendo Direct that happened recently. I feel like there's a lot of recaps out there of like the full run-up show and everything that'll tell you everything that got announced, everything that happened. So I wanted to come together and just discuss the bangers, basically like the fire stuff, because there was some fire at that showcase for sure. And then kind of talk about what it means for the Switch 2 in the last year, the Switch's life cycle, because this is kind of a different scenario. Like this is an interesting sunsetting of a console that we don't see too often. But starting with, again, I'm gonna start with my man James because you coming back for the first time. You know what I mean? What did you think of the Nintendo Direct that happened?
I thought it was really good actually. I thought, like I said, I thought they showed what they're good at showing, their games and their IPs and things like that. I think the thing that really kind of caught me really off guard was at the end when they showed Metro. I think that they were going to show that just from, how much they talked about it before, and I actually never seen anything about it. So seeing it
we saw number 4. That's about it, though.
Yeah,
number 4 and some concept art. That was it.
That was like, how long ago was that? That was a long time ago.
Man, like 6 years almost. I think.
I think it was 2017 was the last thing.
Okay. Yeah. I think at that time, they were showing off Super Smash Brothers, so that's how long ago that was. So like just seeing that come home was just like, oh yeah, like this, and then like showing the little gameplay, like it was like, yeah, this looks great. So like I said, definitely excited for some of these games. Also that new Legend of Zelda, the Echoes, like I'm getting that definitely.
100%, man. And I'm trying to get over the like shell shock of you being like, yeah, they were still saying something about Smash when they announced Metroid Prime 4 because that's crazy.
It puts it even crazier. The last time we saw some actual Metroid Prime 4 shit, Markelle Fultz was the number 1 pick in the NBA draft when he was for the 76ers.
Wow.
Harden was still on the fucking Rockets, dog. That's
crazy. This was, you can just say pre-COVID and it like really hits home, but all this stuff is wild. But so that's a perfect segue. Just overall, how you feeling about the Nintendo Direct?
I loved it. I thought it was exactly what Nintendo needed to do, especially coming off of what Xbox did with theirs, and kind of how lackluster Sony came with it over the those 2 weeks. Yeah. We're coming to the end of the Switch life cycle, and what they've made pretty clear to this point over the last year and a half, 2 years, is that this isn't really the death of a console. And I think the more they do, the more it lends credence to the rumors that this is really, the Switch 2 is really an upgrade, or at least a significant upgrade, because all of that stuff is probably just going to translate right to the Switch 2. It's probably going to be backward compatible, and it's just probably going to run better. It's like, PS5 to PS5 Pro type thing. We're just going to, maybe it's going to be a little 4K on it or something. Maybe it runs at 60, that type of thing. So I think what they're trying to do is get people adjusted to the idea that we're not killing this off, but we're transitioning you to this. So that when it comes back around, you're going to be able to upgrade. They might treat it like a phone. You might be able to turn your Switch in and, upgrade to a Switch 2. Who knows?
Yeah.
So had to pause for a second for technical difficulties. I probably sound way better now, which, great for audio quality. But I'll have to agree as far as my take on the whole direct, man. There was a lot of emphasis on the fact that they still have a hefty library of Switch games to like just kind of drop out. Nintendo's always like this. Like they tend to just kind of pocket things. We've been constantly waiting for the Zelda remix, and they're just like, hey, here's a brand new Zelda game. You know what I mean? And you see stuff like Metroid Prime 4, where we've been talking about how long a wait it's been for more info on that. But at the same time, there's been so much moving for Nintendo, that it's like, does it, did we need that necessarily? Like for the Switch to have like one of the best libraries in Nintendo's history? Not necessarily, you know what I mean? Like this just kind of emphasizes the fact that the library is so strong and they still have stuff like this to drop. So I think it's a really, really strong showcase. And yeah, we can kind of freeform this because, like I said, we're not doing a full recap. Talk about kind of game by game. Metroid Prime 4 is obviously the big one. Like the fact that I feel like the gameplay that we saw, it reminded me a lot of the opening to Metroid Prime. And maybe that's just because we all played the remake so recently. So it kind of felt like it was playing out the exact same way. But in that sense, it gave me like tech demo vibes, like where it's like showing you how powerful Metroid Prime 4 is. I don't know if we're necessarily going to do that exact sequence in the game, you know what I mean? But it just shows you what they're going for and how powerful this game is going to be. Now, do you guys think it's worth waiting for the Switch 2 to play it necessarily?
I ain't waiting for shit. I already got a Switch. I'm gonna get a Switch too regardless. I'm not waiting. I've been waiting long enough.
Let me word that. Let me phrase that differently. I forgot I was talking to Metroid fans. That wait was the trigger word. I'm sorry. Do you feel like it's going to be a significant enough difference on the Switch 2 that justifies people that might want to get the best experience to it?
To quote the great one himself, it doesn't matter.
I do agree with Tony. I don't think that it matters with like the Nintendo IPs itself. I feel like those are gonna look great regardless. I think more of that comes from like other IPs. So like Mortal Kombat, like and how much better that will look on Switch 2 than like your Metroids or your Mario, Luigi's or anything. I feel like those games are gonna look how they're gonna look. They might look a little bit better, but I don't think it's gonna be like so much to where you like I have to wait in order to play this on Switch 2. I think it's gonna be the gamers that want to kind of game a little bit on their Switch and play other games is gonna be like, all right, like I need this.
How excited are you guys for the Switch 2 as a console?
I mean, I'm very excited. Like, I'm always excited for a Nintendo console minus the Wii U. And that's just because niggas didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So it was just like, hey, like I got it, but I wasn't like hyped for it. Like the Wii, I was hyped for it because I know, it was different and like I could see the potential in what they were doing. Right. Switch, I was hyped for it because it seemed like they got done fucking us with a tech demo for the Switch and this was the actual thing. Right. So I'm always excited for a Nintendo console. Like I said, I'm going to end up with it eventually. This is just one of those things where I'm not waiting. Like if I didn't already have a Wii, I would have waited on Twilight Princess. So it wouldn't have been a problem. But this, nah.
Nah, I feel the lack of patience to put it, bluntly. We've been waiting for a very long time, as we emphasized earlier in the episode. But I think my greater thing is, does the Switch 2 matter in that case? If we're not going to be excited about how much better Switch games are going to be, like this is kind of the whole jump that we're going to be making. Like, I feel like the Switch 2 has the potential with all the partnerships they made with NVIDIA and everything to actually make a big difference, especially in the game where you're shooting enemies. I know Metroid is way more of a Metroidvania than a traditional shooter, but we could see some of that that benefit in a game like Metroid. Those environments look beautiful. I think they're going to look even better on the Switch too. So, I'm personally very excited to see what the differences are because I think Metroid is the perfect game to exemplify what the difference is between the Switch and the Switch 2 when it drops. But outside of Metroid, I feel like A game that doesn't necessarily need that graphical jump is Echoes of Wisdom. I'm definitely hyped to play that. It feels like the Zelda equivalent or the 2D equivalent of Tears of the Kingdom, where you're picking up all these different items and objects to kind of build up your repertoire, and it's kind of like opens up gameplay in a way that I don't think I've ever seen.
No, I think I was hyped for it. Yeah, because I think we were texting when it was on a little bit, and we both thought Link to the Past because
Yeah,
that was what we got right at the beginning. It just felt like the ending to Link to the Past, and then they just hit the whole switch flip. And now, every adult that we ever knew growing up who told us that Link was Zelda is now looking at us like, like, eat that motherfucker. It's been 20 games in between. It was always Link.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to finally play as Zelda, and I think they're kind of continuing what they had with Princess Peach's Showtime, where they're giving their female characters a chance to shine. So I'm excited to play it because it's gonna be dope.
100%, man. Yeah, I feel like it's time. You know what I mean? Especially the same way that it was with Peach. It's just kind of a perfect era for them to kind of emphasize these characters that deserve a little bit more shine. And this gameplay style is fitting. I feel like for Zelda, even though it would be nice to see her actually like swing the staff a little bit. Like I feel like you can swing that joint pretty hard, Zelda. Like I saw you in Smash. I know what you can do. So such is life. But I'm very excited about this, and I feel like Nintendo's back to experiment. I feel like these are interesting game types. They bringing back Mario and Luigi. That's one that we definitely need to talk about a little bit because that's one of my favorite series.
Opened up with that shit.
Man, went hard as hell with the art style in particular. Because I feel like that's one of those games where it kind of comes to look like the box art. So I really can't wait to
Yeah, that's
see
true.
how it works. Let's see, what else do we have? And like I said, I'm just kind of rattling through the biggest highlights from the show. And that's going to be very objective. So if there's anything that y'all are particularly excited about,
Marvel versus Capcom.
literally next on my list.
I was gonna mention that too, but yeah, like I mean, I'm getting that, and I'm gonna get it on my Switch so I can take it with me. That's
Yes.
Yeah, I need that to be.
like, yeah, I need that portable. Actually, I need to be able to be at the airport and just like play that while waiting for a plane. Like I need
It's something I didn't even know that I needed until they presented me with the option. Uh, Not that I haven't been begging for them this game to come back because, I was one of those people that never I got to play it in select times. You know what I mean? I had friends that had it. I got to play it in arcades and stuff like that at times or whatever. But it's like got this myth around it because it's so hard to play now. You got to settle for all the newer ones, which there are some, I won't say that
Three got better. Three came out weird, but three got better.
I was about to say
Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3 was like amazing.
Yeah.
It's actually way better. I
Yeah.
was smashing one tournaments in that game. And then they made that
last one.
infinite shit that I'm not gonna talk about.
Yeah, we don't talk about
that shit.
Yeah. No, but it's dope to be able to play the classic, you know what I mean? And then all these other classic games that I, had never tried, never really was hip to. The Punisher game is going to be cool.
I'm playing the fuck out of that. But yeah, just so everybody that's listening knows, Eclipse Theory is accepting all fades when the shit drops.
Oh yeah,
always.
I don't want people to not subscribe because I beat their ass, but it is what it is.
Listen, subscribe. That is the condition of losing. You gotta subscribe.
Yeah. If you lose, hit that button.
Facts. Did y'all play Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii?
Yeah.
Man, that is an amazing game, and the fact that it's getting remade on the Switch. I know we already got Tropical Freeze, and a lot of people swear by Tropical Freeze.
Tropical Freeze is fucking incredible.
Yeah, like that game was like the talk of the town when it came out, and the talk of the town again when it got remade. So shout out to Tropical Freeze, but
Retro Studios did it.
Yeah, and I remember when DK Country Returns came out, and it was one of those things where it was kind of like the first. It was literally the return of Donkey Kong Country, just like it sounds like. It's the one that introduced this art style and kind of took it down this aesthetic direction. I remember the little silhouette of gameplay where they like drop into the background and like you can
Dog,
only
that
see.
shit looks so
Yeah,
cool.
yes,
I didn't get a chance to play it, but I would watch those videos. I'm like, that's fucking incredible.
it sold me on the whole. I'm not gonna lie, like it was just like it's kind of like how Mario Wonder has those moments where it's like, wow, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to jump in there and do that. So yeah, that's a game I feel like if you haven't played it, it's definitely worth jumping in there and playing because it's just a great platforming experience. Let's see. I have a couple more here that were kind of interesting. I just wanted to give a shout out to Dragon Quest 3 because that
Or
HD 3D remake or HD 2D, excuse me, HD 2D remake that they're making, it looks really, really dope. It's not as like flashy as some of the other ones that have come out, like Octopath Traveler, or even like was it Suikoden that just got remade? One of those old school RPGs, but. I think it's Dragon Quest is like it's a series that I don't talk about loving enough, but I've played like 4 or 5 random Dragon Quest games. Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2 was fucking amazing. And it drew me because it looks like Dragon Ball Z. I'm not gonna lie to you. Rest in peace to my man Toyama. But yeah, that's a really dope series, and I really can't wait for that game and 1 and 2 to actually come out later. Um,
shout
one
out to
that
Perfect Dark coming back.
Yes, Perfect Dark dropping on the Nintendo Switch Online service is pretty dope. With
Also
online
accepting fades in that.
facts. Can't wait for that. And
See
then
me around the corner with the laptop gun. I'm fucking everybody up.
man, they actually drop. Actually, that's the perfect time for that. I'm just thinking about the other Perfect Dark game that's coming out, so it gives you an easy way. It's such a dope thing to be able to pick up your Switch and just like the other day, I was having a conversation with my cousin about Mario 64. And we were like, when you first go to a level, does it show you, 1 star grayed out is like 3 of them stars and then it opens up 6? Couldn't remember how it started off. So I just picked up my Switch and I booted it up in the Nintendo Switch Online. And then I realized I didn't have a save. So I closed that and I booted it up in the Mario, collection that they dropped on Switch. I'm like, man, the fact that I have multiple ways to just boot this game up.
I gotta find that shit because I missed it the first. I was broke as fuck when it dropped, and
yeah, I don't think you can buy it. It's
no,
stupid.
you can still find it because I didn't caught a couple of them that was like 80, $90, but I'm trying to be cheap.
I forgot, physical copies and whatnot will be out there for like resale.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know.
but I might have to bite that bullet, man, because I need it.
Having Mario Galaxy on the Switch is pretty dope.
That's what I'm saying. I need it.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, but actually, speaking of Mario, I want to talk about the fact that there's a new Mario Party coming out. I feel like people are not really talking about this. Definitely gonna have to get that. I know that I can speak to particularly me, James, and all the homies like growing to hate each other more playing Mario Kart.
That's I normally get that game because it's the game that everybody can play.
Yeah.
You don't even if somebody doesn't play games like that, like you see somebody play Mario Party, you like this is just an interactive fucking Monopoly, and
Yep.
I want to play this. And then, like you said, you lose friends because people cheat and they steal your stars. And that's how it works.
Like I'll tell you, I do not win at Mario Party. I don't know how often I've ever won. I definitely start off talking shit, but I don't win. Just for the record.
Because your rolls be ass.
Yeah, what can I say?
I do recall that I did win the last Mario Party game. I do recall that.
And you see, this is why the friendships die because you got to throw that in everyone's face.
Yes.
All of the homies that was watching this episode turn the episode off now. It's fine. It's fine. But
That's a game that like because like you said nobody really talks about it anymore. But Mario Party is kind of the last of those games that's almost necessary to play with people in the same room.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it don't hit the same playing online.
that couch co-op. Now, before we say that, I agree with you 100%. And this is I will pray to the church of couch co-op for the rest of my life. Like, please put that shit in more games. I want to be able to sit next to somebody and like have that. That's a different experience. But one of the things I wanted to highlight about this game is that they put like that 20-player like Fall Guys looking like mini game rush mode in here. I ain't gonna lie, that sounds
Oh no,
fire
I'm
to me.
on that. Yeah, 20 people playing Mario Party. It's just you lose the
Yeah,
personal. I'm telling you, playing 20 strangers online. It just don't hit the same as me
right.
hitting the mini game with the stick, and I'm going like this, and I'm looking you in your eye,
Straight up.
bitch,
Straight up.
bitch, bitch. Now
That's
everybody they
facts.
got to fight. We got to fight right at the end of right at the end of the mini game. We got to fight.
And it's funny because I feel the same way about like Mario Kart a little bit. Like I enjoy the fuck out of Mario Kart online, but it's not the same as
It's
playing with,
not the same, man.
I gotta blue shell you and then look at you like Luigi and just see
Dead
the
in the face. I got to look you dead in
yeah,
the face after that blue. Matter of fact, I look you in the face after I throw it because we already know it's hitting.
yeah, 100%. Yep. You wonder if somebody threw a blue shell, you look over, you see me grilling you the whole time. I'm not
The
even watching the
whole
race.
time.
Fire moments. And then the last game that I had on my list to highlight from the whole showcase, just to make sure that we mentioned something that kind of caught me off guard that I hadn't heard of, was Mio, Memories in Orbit. I don't know if y'all remember this one, but it was the almost like watercolor art style looking game with like the platform elements where it was like zipping through different things that were floating around. I would have to bring up the trailer for you.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
definitely missed that one, but I was at work when the shit was going, so I had
uh,
to look up a couple
yeah.
times.
Nah, that's a perfect time for me to sell it. It kind of gave like a lot of people Ori vibes. I hadn't finished Ori. I played a little bit of the first one, but for whatever reason, I just never, I guess, had an Xbox. But yeah, no, this game looks pretty amazing. It really stood out, and among a sea of like Nintendo games, this was like the one random indie game that really stood out. So shout out to that game.
Yeah, I got no doubt that shit's dope. I got one game I gotta highlight, and this is like pure. I'm acknowledging this is pure nostalgia, and this is just me. But for a motherfucker that had a Sega Genesis and played Tiny Toons Acme All Stars, to see Looney
Oh
Tunes
yeah,
Wacky World of Sports pop up, I'm
yeah.
cop. I don't care. I'm cop. That's
And
just that. That's like a 7-year-old me right there. Just saw that, and I was like, oh yeah.
you know what? I know that game is like a direct follow up to the game that you're talking about. It straight up is like the sequel to that, I think. But I had the same reaction because of the Space Jam game on PS1. That joint had, I don't know what it was about that game, and like I always say, I can't tell you if it was a good game or not, but I
Oh,
had fun.
It was an enjoyable game.
That's
I
a great,
enjoyed
let's go with
it.
that. Yep.
yeah, that's a
I
great
don't know
way to
why I enjoyed that game so much, but I did. I can't tell you why.
Yeah. It's like the Small Soldiers game on PS1. I couldn't tell you if it's good or not, but I just know I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Man, I was 7, 8, 9 years old. This joint had the right colors and movement speed. It was
Yeah,
it was working
exactly.
for
Yeah.
me.
The only bad thing I can tell you is I just was mad when somebody picked the Toon Squad and I couldn't be the
Yeah,
Toon Squad. I did not want to be, I wanted to be the Toon Squad. Like, I wanted to play with Bugs and them. Like,
Yeah, didn't nobody want to play with
100%.
the fucking nerd lucks?
The goddamn
I'm calling them the
monsters.
Monstars. They fucking nerd lucks.
Yo, remembering their like OG names is actually crazy. I respect the hell out of that right there. I'm not gonna lie to you. But nah, that's a great shout out. That game might need some graphical touch ups. Like I feel like
Oh yeah, it looked a little rough. It did it did look a little rough.
like
But I'm
there
still gonna
was
buy it. But that looked like we was like There's a PS1 game that somebody just like inserted as a joke.
yeah, but that's how that is sometimes. And honestly, that kind of makes me nostalgic. Like it kind of reminds me of South Park Snow Day that came out a few years ago, where I'm like, this looks a little bit like an N64 game. Like it looks better than that. Don't get me wrong, but it also kind of evokes that memory. Or like some of the polygonal PS1 hard games that have been coming out and stuff like that. Now, this game didn't do it on purpose, so I'm not gonna give them all that.
Yeah, I'm
But
pretty sure that wasn't on purpose.
yeah, but
I mean, it could maybe, and the only
nah,
reason I say maybe is because they're trying to do something like where you're playing with a bunch of people, and they're just
yeah,
trying to keep the frame rate at a certain level, but still,
it's like I don't know,
yeah,
man.
y'all gotta
I
show
feel
me something
like
because that's supposed to drop in the fall.
yeah, that looked pretty rough. But I mean, hey, like you said, I'm still trying to play it, so it got where it needed to be, so it doesn't matter.
We Nintendo kids, graphics ain't everything.
This is facts. What console we playing on? So the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about in this episode briefly is just kind of like I was saying earlier, what our expectations are for the Switch 2. Like what games you kind of hoping will make a return or that you'll see drop. I know we've kind of touched on the Switch 2 topic at various times in the past, but we're getting very close to actually seeing a reveal of that. I feel like within the next 6 months, we're gonna actually see that and see what games come out for it. So what would y'all like to see leading in like the first year of the Switch 2, basically?
For me, definitely I do Smash, but that's just
That's an interesting combo.
feel like that has to be done. I feel like they always do one for every system that comes out. So I feel like, definitely don't break the pattern now.
Hmm.
So I definitely need that. And I
Okay.
definitely would say it's been so long. They definitely need a Earthbound game. Just RPGs and everything is so like major right now. Like a Earthbound would just like crack the code.
I need a pin in that for just a second. We got to come back to that. You just spoke to me in a different way, and I feel like I might need a hot second to talk about that one because that's a good call. You just inspired your boy. But I want to talk about the Smash thing first because there's actually something interesting to talk about there. Or excuse me, not Kojima. I got Kojima on the mind for some reason. Sakurai, who I believe recently we had some news regarding like him putting out his last YouTube video, um, saying that he was kind of hanging up the belt as far as that goes. And people are speculating about whether that might mean he's returning to like working on Smash, but maybe something new is coming. I'm interested like what direction Smash could go after Ultimate. Um, just like the fact that that was such like the ultimate Smash game, like it has so much stuff in it. Like, how would you reapproach the series if you were like to bring it back for the Switch 2? Just give us
Um,
more.
I would I would do some games. I feel like you don't need to remake it. Some games can be port with add-on stuff to it.
Okay, yeah,
So different modes, of course, more characters that you couldn't fit in the last game because you were like deciding and you were like, I don't know. They can finally get people what they cry for and put Goku in the game. You know, um, or like I know also he talked about like licensing and sometimes like some of that stuff takes a while to get through. So that's why some characters like because to me it did a disservice that Ryo Hasabusa isn't in a Smash game when he's a fucking like Nintendo classic.
yeah, I
But
agree.
that's just me. Um, so I feel like you could do that and just add more stuff to it. That's what Capcom is really working on now. Like Capcom is really remaking a lot of their old games, supporting like making new stuff. Like they just really said they're doing Dead Rising, which I think is, for people that did play Dead Rising, it actually was a fun game.
It
Um,
was fun.
so I feel like, like they could do it in that way. Also, my expectations for Switch 2 would be more power to the system when it's plugged into the TV.
Yeah,
So I feel like with that, you can expand the games and things like that. So for me, it could be a port for me for all I care, which is more characters to it. Like I'm not going to triple. They don't need to do too much to it for me. Like I've been playing Smash since 64 and I'm gonna play it no matter what. So I don't really give a fuck.
yeah.
But I feel like people are gonna want a new Smash after a while. Like that's what they're gonna want.
I agree with you. I think that's the best possible route, especially right now. Like what they do later, if they have some inspiration for what direction they might want to take Smash in, like, because we all have our concepts for like a rebooted Smash. Like, oh yeah, you can make it, whatever concepts you might have to improve on Smash. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe treatment is exactly what I want for Smash Ultimate. And I think that's the perfect middle ground between like give us another Smash and like open up the doors to continue working on this Smash. I almost wish it wasn't such a big deal when they stopped making stuff for this Smash because it feels like it was like a hard like that's the
It
end of
was a
this one.
hard stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we ain't making no more shit, though. Because I mean, they had to set expectations, and again, with all this conversation, with saying that certain characters should have been in the game. Thank you for all the shit y'all gave us, because there's a lot of
Oh
characters in that game. You know what I mean? Like, with
yeah.
that being,
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
complain. I'm just,
Right.
I'm just one of those people that's just like, I know some of the characters that they thought about had to get niched because they were thinking of certain things. So now if you do expansion to that on Switch 2, you can add some of those people that you already kind of nicked out of the game, give
Yep.
people more leads you like they've been crying about.
Yeah,
Although I will
Waluigi
say,
is that's a good.
one of a couple of them characters going to end up clones. Ryu is going to end up a Sheik clone.
Mm, that's interesting. But see, I would take like a heavy Sheik. Like think about how
Yeah, just think
different
about
that
all
could
the
be.
different weapons that he got in all his different games.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be slight variation, but it's going to be basically. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Ganondorf, Captain Falcon, but it's going to be that type of
At this point, that's one of those things
like
where
how we get Ganondorf with no sword, but when he
that's
taught, he
crazy.
got a sword. That
Well,
shit pissed me off.
Well, I
They
will
did
say
fix
in
that.
Ultimate, in the last one, they did add it to him, so they did
They
Yeah.
make it like,
they did, but I'm still stuck on the melee shit, man.
yeah,
That shit
Yeah.
pissed me off.
Just
I'll
the
give you
just
that.
it's crazy. But then you got to think that moveset was completely made up from. That's a Smash moveset. That is not a Captain
Yeah.
Falcon moveset. That nigga ain't did none of that.
He
in
ain't
his
doing no,
games.
yeah. He like Alicia Keys. Got from
Yeah.
behind the piano, started dancing, and nobody knew what the fuck was going on.
Facts. that's a hell of a comparison right there. I never thought I would hear Ganondorf and Alicia Keys. That might be the tagline how I promote this episode. I'm not gonna lie. That's crazy. But
Oh man, I'm looking forward to the Switch too, man. I think, like I said, I think they're going to basically make it an upgrade, which is fine. We're at the point now where you know what you're getting from Nintendo. Like
right.
it doesn't have to like how much better are we actually going to make consoles? You know what I mean? Like just drop the new shit, give you a little bit of expansion for the storage. Please fix the storage issue so that we don't have to go through that again.
Yes.
But a little graphical jump and just get better games. I think we're now at the point, and I can't believe that it has to take this long. We're 7 or 8 years into the Switch's life cycle. But I remember when the Switch dropped and EA Sports was like, fuck that thing.
Yeah. Like this is
and then when they finally got on board, they gave us the worst ports of FIFA known to man. So let's, at least be powerful enough to run the Frostbite engine, which EA stubbornly continues to make Madden with. It just absolutely should not be made with that engine, but at least make it powerful enough to run that so we can get some Madden on the Switch. We can get some good, like 2K runs great on the Switch. Graphically is a little off, but that is what it is. But yeah, we need more sports games. I mean, New Star Games can't be the only ones holding us down with Retro Bowl and New Star GP. Like they can't be the only ones holding us down in the sports arena. Let us get a real 2K WWE game instead of that crappy 2K14 port that we got, or 24. Was it 20? It was 14. 14 was terrible.
Or AEW Fight Forever. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fight Forever was like a bad port. The game wasn't bad, but the port itself was terrible. So let's actually bring Nintendo back into this sports game fold. I mean, hell, I'm even down to play a little Call of Duty on it just to see what's up.
Yeah.
But like you guys said, I think that the main thing is bring Smash to it. I think in the first year, we're definitely going to see Mario because Nintendo, if nothing else, has proved the last 2 years that they're actively working on shit, and we don't see it until it's basically ready to go. So they got stuff in the tuck. They probably got the first 2 years they got the first 2 years planned out. But I think we got to see Mario the first year. It's been too long since Odyssey.
Then also, I would say they need to do, and this is just me. I know I wasn't here for the GameCube edition, but they need to fucking re-release fucking Mario Sunshine and, with a new system, like HD that bitch.
Man, I love Mario Sunshine. I don't care what nobody says. That's an incredible fucking game.
I really wanted to take a minute and talk about that during the GameCube episode that we really didn't. But Mario Sunshine is such a good game. It's such a flawed game, but it's such a good game. And I appreciate the fact that we all on the same page and we pretending like those flaws don't exist because it's such a good game.
They don't.
Exactly. Like, who cares? Like it might be hard. This is the thing. I talked about this with Mario 64. That was their first time making a 3D Mario. What fucked us up is that they killed it like that. That shouldn't have happened. They made some type of deal with some demonic, I'm not going to say the devil, but it was somebody with horns. And that drink came out. Mario has not been that athletic since. How do you get it better the first time than the one coming out now. I mean, Cappy's cool, but I ain't flipping like Mario 64, bro. So
I don't know, man. Some of them Cappy combos be
they
fire.
are
You get that
fucking
jumping
fire.
right.
I'm hating, but you get what I
Hating a
mean
little
though.
bit.
Like them flips are crazy still. Like he didn't even need Cappy. He was doing those fucking like just the whole system was just so brilliant. And it was the first time. So the second time out, that's when you started to see how fucked up it can really get. Like Mario
But I mean,
64.
like, was he ever really going to jump higher on Super Mario Sunshine? That man has got a water tank on his back. You know how heavy water is?
Right.
You know,
That joint kind of like threw the whole dynamic off. They tried something really experimental for their second time at bat, which is crazy. But
Yeah,
you know,
I would re-release it and then like how like my favorite game is Devil May Cry. So sometimes when they re-release the game, then they'll add Virgil to it, so you can play
yeah,
it with Virgil. Like they should do that and then add Luigi. So
that would be
Luigi
dope.
can have his own like separate like little game inside of the game. Like,
Imagine you know what, man? Give me a full-on Luigi Sunshine sequel. Fuck the remake.
yeah.
Oh my God, that would be, bro, come on. Like we did
Hovering with the
this.
water pack. Yeah.
You just
Yes, I
sold me
need
on
that.
it even more.
I need that.
Like
I need that.
they actually did this, you know what I mean, with Mario 64 on the DS. So it's not impossible, man.
They did let niggas play with Wario and Yoshi.
Yep. And Luigi. Yep. All four of them was in that joint. So this is a more powerful handheld, y'all. Y'all can do it. I believe in you. But no, I feel like that's a pretty good place to kind of wrap things up, man. Oh, one last thing I just want to throw out there. Pokemon Z, Z-A, Z. We just gonna call it Pokemon Z. I
Let's
can't
call it
wait.
pizza.
That's actually a good call. That pizza is gonna be fire. I cannot wait to get a taste of that pizza right there. Because
So
I
how much
feel
better that
like
went?
it worked really well. It's weird. But I feel like that game was gonna definitely be another example, especially with the way Arceus ran. Because I don't know if y'all were in love with Arceus like I was, but that's like my favorite Pokemon game forever.
I still
Like
ain't
that.
played it.
It's so good because it's so like casual. Like you can just walk through it's not the best looking game, and like it doesn't have the combat that other Pokemon games because it's not focused on battles. It's honestly focused on catching Pokemon and like exploring the world and like you know what I mean, like building out the Pokedex, which they give you tasks to build out the Pokedex, where it's like catch this many of this Pokemon or catch this Pokemon and see it do this move. So you're like researching the Pokemon, it feels like, see them in a different environment or whatever, like the case may be. So seeing all of that, but moved up a hardware, so it's not like super janky and looking like a Wii game, is gonna be really fire. I just wanted to point that one out before we wrap things up. Did y'all have any last minute thoughts on games that y'all want to see on the Switch, or is it just hype season?
I mean, it's kind of both. You know,
Sure.
it's time. Like you said, 6 months is 6 months to 7 months. That's probably when we're gonna see it. Yeah, man, it's hype season. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's gonna be about time for a new 3D Zelda.
Mm.
And we ain't gonna see that first year, but
It's gonna
second
take.
year.
You think so? I mean,
I
you know
think they
what?
started working on it as soon as they got done with Tears in the Kingdom, and the only reason that I think that is because they basically said this is going to be the last of that style
Yeah,
of Zelda. They've already moved on.
they have, and they probably have been working on it for a little while. I can see it being like 3 years out from Tears of the Kingdom. So that'd be this year with Echoes of Kingdom, Echoes of Wisdom. Next year, I'm just gonna throw it out there. We'll probably see the little remakes. At least one of those goddamn remakes gotta exist.
Just
So
give me one. Just give me
throw it on there.
one.
It can't
Give me
be
Wind
that
Waker. Let's
Please.
prioritize Wind Waker.
Wind Waker
I-
on Wii U is
Yeah.
fucking beautiful, bro. We need that game
I
on
can-
other consoles.
I would, for me personally, I would say they should do a Doors Mask, but that's just me.
I mean, I would love to see it, but that would be the type of shit they do. We've been begging for Twilight
Yeah.
Princess and Wind Waker, and then they'll flip and go, "Here's Majora's Mask, fully remade," and we're going,
Yep.
"Okay."
Yep, I'll take it. Absolutely. That's what we're feeling like with Echoes of Wisdom right now.
Yeah.
Like I did not ask for this, but I'll take that for sure.
Look,
And
look. If they come out just slap us with Majora's Mask fully remade, they ain't got to give me Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. I'll shut the fuck up forever.
that's the game that made me a fan of, probably like such a fan of video games. So I'm right there with you. I feel yeah. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the Switch 2 or whatever we're gonna call
Free
it.
beautiful Joe.
Yes, free beautiful Joe is a great message to go out on.
You are correct. I agree with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely let us know, man, in the comments what games you guys hope come back to the Switch 2, what you want to see from the end of the Switch's life cycle, because we're rolling downhill, but like you said, we're still kind of going to keep going. You know what I mean? So make sure you leave a comment down below on any of the services that you're watching on, like and subscribe. You know, make sure that we get that feedback from you because we want to make the show for you guys. But until next time, man, I'm Kendall, this has been James and Tony, and make sure you keep gaming.